This Week in Agribusiness, serving America's most essential industry, is brought to you by Case IH. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to this weekend's edition of This Week in Agribusiness. It's great to be back at the desk with you this weekend. Yeah, it's a little bit different scenario. Mr. Pearson will be back here next weekend on our broadcast, but we're going to talk about wrapping up 2023 in terms of the sales of farm equipment and farmland, and do a little peering into the future also with the help of folks who are so expert at that. They know what's going on. Mr. Mark Stock, who joins me here at the desk, has his fingers on the pulse of what's happening as co-owner and co-founder of Big Iron Auctions. Good to see you again, sir.
Oh, Max, it is great to be here.
I think we were together back in the heat of summer at the half century of progress. I guess I'd like to know what's happened since then, and what have we seen in terms of sales this year of equipment compared to 2022?
Well, in 2023, we had an outstanding year, great year. Sold for close to 10,000 different sellers, Max, using the online platform. Had 47,000 different buyers, as we've topped 122,000 different lots of machinery that sold in 2023. So hats off to all the guys and gals that make up the organization that handled that volume of equipment. But you know, we're seeing the machinery market holding stable, a little softer in some areas, a little stronger in others, but still plenty higher than it was pre-COVID.
We want to talk a little bit later with your colleague Dan Sullivan about what's happening in the land end of the business. You folks got together in your enterprises, and it's made a great partnership, it strikes me. But you mentioned COVID. Things have really changed. It's aligned us in a different fashion as to how we do business, and that includes buying equipment.
Online specifically, because the COVID forced a lot of people that needed machinery to be used in their operation to go on the internet to bid and buy, because open outcry business was no longer being able to be conducted. So our registrations during that time period just spiked tremendously high. And now we have all that data in our database, and we use all that information, of course, to help market the equipment that's sold today. But all the people that were reluctant, Max, at that first few years of the internet business of bidding and buying, because they always wanted to touch it and feel it and hear it run, they were forced into participating in an online auction. But we try to provide as many pictures and video as possible to get them as comfortable as possible pre-COVID auction-wise.
That requires quite a bit of teamwork on behalf of your folks out there in the field. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But speaking of folks in the field, let's join Ryan Harbour now to get a little bit of a grasp on what's happening in that Plain States area. Ryan?
I'm here in central Nebraska, and we're super excited to share with you guys some amazing auctions that we have coming up in January, February, and March on BigIron.com. And I just want to start with a sale over in Shickley, Nebraska. Bear Creek Farms lining up a nice sale for us for late January. Some of the highlighted pieces of that auction would be a John Deere 7820 mechanical front tractor with 746 loader, alongside a nice John Deere 8400 as well. That same seller also has some really nice seeding equipment, a John Deere 1890 air seeder and a 1910 cart, along with the John Deere 1720 stack fold planter. So you'll want to keep your eyes peeled for that sale, because again, that's a nice one coming up in Shickley, Nebraska. Now, Pat Hannon up in Shelton, Nebraska has got two really good tractors that we're excited about selling for him. I've known Pat a long time, and his equipment is top notch. And so he's got a John Deere 8R250 with virtually no hours on it. That tractor is in amazing shape. And then he also has a John Deere 8225R, and that tractor would be a 2010 model. So it's right prime for the taking for anybody interested in a pre-emissions tractor there. Down the road to the south a little bit in Franklin, Nebraska, we've got the Ingram Farms retirement, and that retirement sale is a full line of John Deere equipment that Ingram's will be selling. Again, that's coming up in late January in Franklin, Nebraska. Moving a little bit further out west, we certainly have a nice project that we started in Arapahoe, Wyoming for Fegler Farms, coming up on January 25th out in Arapahoe, Wyoming. Real nice sale there. Some older equipment, but also very well cared for. Interestingly enough, the pieces of equipment that are super exciting on that sale would be two New Holland stack liner machines that they have, and one of those machines only having about 900 hours on it in super good shape. So you're going to want to check that out if you're an alfalfa producer that's looking for some good hay equipment. Fegler Farms, Arapahoe, Wyoming, January 25th is where you're going to find that. And then generally speaking, just in Montana, Idaho, Utah, and Colorado. We've got a lot of fun stuff working out there, a lot of good dealer packages coming up here that we're working to finalize for February and early March, as well as a couple retirement sales that we're working on there. So many things going on, so many moving parts. Again, like I said, we're touching a lot of things across a lot of states here in Nebraska, Colorado, Wyoming, Utah, Montana, and Idaho. And we're excited to share it all with you guys on BigIron.com coming right up.
Ryan, thank you so much. He's going to be a busy boy at the first 3 months, first quarter of this new year. Your folks in the field do work together as a team, and it strikes me that they not only know equipment, they know many of the farm families they're working with. I mean, as you listen to Ryan, that's one thing that occurred to me.
Yes, well, our reps, first of all, Max, most of them are ag-based. So when they come out to the seller's farm or ranch, they know how to start the tractor, they know how to drive it around, they have tremendous product knowledge, which helps in describing the equipment that's being sold, because a unique thing about what happens on BigIron.com, the machine it'll move 305 miles on average from where it originates from.
Oh, wait a minute, go over that number again. On the average sale of a piece of equipment, the movement will be as much as 300 miles away.
It's averaging 305 miles right now. So a lot of the folks don't come to look at it. They rely on the information that's provided with the picture sets and the videos, and our reps do all of that work. And the reps, they live in those communities in which they serve. So the way our model works, they all have 1, 2, maybe 3 counties, depending on the density or population of the space. So they're going to church, they're going to the basketball games and football games, they're at the cafe, and they're talking to the folks that they're working for. And that's one of the reasons why it works so well and why we can get so much work done.
How many reps do you have out there then across the country?
It's over 250, and we're always looking for good quality men and women that want to be a part of our organization.
You need to be somebody who is indeed firmly grounded in agriculture, and they know what's going on in the world around them there.
Well, it definitely helps, because I mean, a seller can identify somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. So we teach and train all types of machinery to all of our salespeople. We have a good training program. We want them to be well versed on not only what they know, but what they don't know. And then they have their counterparts that they can rely on in the event that there is a unique piece out there that they need more information on.
I suppose those reps can also answer a lot of questions for the farmer who may say, well, how do we go about this? You know, they are the ones who really will ease them into the process of everything that needs to be done and give them plenty of time, as you've told me in the past.
Totally, yes. So the process and explanation of the process to the sellers is a key component, because they've never done that before if they're retiring. Now, a big part of our business, though, Max, is from repeat sellers. So a lot of folks that may have 1, 2, or 3 items of machinery that they no longer use in their operation, well, they call us up and we sell it for them, and then they reinvest those monies into items that actually will work in their operation at the current moment. And what is very unique is sometimes you look at something in your shed and you go, well, nobody uses that anymore. Well, with the reach of Big Iron right now, whether you have a cultivator that you don't use, well, there may be an organic farmer 2 or 3 states away, you can't find that machine. So that's one of the unique things about what Big Iron works for everybody.
And don't let that thing just sit there.
Don't
Get
let
that
it
thing
sit
on the
there.
market, right?
Correct.
All right. We want to talk a little more with you. Don't go away. Mark Stock, among our guests this weekend from Big Iron Auctions. We'll visit with Dan Sullivan coming up here in just a few minutes, too. So stay with us on this special edition of This Week in Agribusiness.